What's up, YouTube? Anthony Olan here, and yes, again, it's been a while. I know I just have to really balance work and my YouTube and my personal life, but I want to talk about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet because a couple of days ago they did have their gameplay trailer with a lot of information, like a lot of information, and over at the Three Amigos podcast, we did do an episode for this video. When I say we, I mean mainly Frankie and Chris because I wasn't able to make it to that session due to my other, you know, things that I'm doing in life, other jobs and activities, or if you want to call it, my hobbies and all that other stuff. Basically, I've been busy. Couldn't make it to that episode. I'm not sure when the episode will be uploaded to YouTube, but be on the lookout for that. So check out the Three Amigos podcast, and you can see a bunch of other crazy, cool videos we did. But I want to talk about Pokemon here because there are some minor concerns I have about this game, but I am, for the most part, very excited. It's another Pokemon game, so there's a lot of excitement there. But I do want to address some concerns that I have with these two new games. Now, this does kind of come off as a Pokemon Breath of the Wild type of thing. I know we have seen that term be used a lot for various games, and it's not necessarily a bad thing for this game in my opinion, because if you have been following me on this channel for some time, you may have heard me at some point say that I don't think Breath of the Wild is the greatest game of all time, or as great as people think it is. I think it is overhyped, heavily overhyped. But we're not talking about Breath of the Wild right now. We're talking about Pokemon. And with my concerns here is that being that the Pokemon games are on Switch, and the Switch hardware is awful. It's not where gaming is. It's not comparable. I worry about a lot of pop-ins and some frame rate issues, especially with this massive open world. Now, we have seen massive open worlds on Switch, such as Skyrim and The Witcher 3. If you want to call that open world, because it kind of is, kind of not. You had the Xenoblade games. Those games are massive. So I am worried about the scale of this game with the frame rate and the pop-ins and the textures and all that stuff, because graphically this game does look pretty good compared to other Pokemon games. Some Pokemon models look really good. Like, there's a part of the trailer here where you see a Scizor, and Scizor is looking like really shiny and good in this game. So I am hoping that we won't see any type of major issues, because it looks like this game will be pushing the Switch to its limits, and we don't know if there is going to be a Switch revision that is more of a performance upgrade and not just a visual upgrade like the OLED model. And I've explained before my reasonings for why there will never be a 4K Switch, or it won't be feasible for Nintendo to make a 4K Switch, but I won't get into that right now. But like I said, my main concern here is with the frame rate, pop-in, textures, all that stuff. We can't really see much of it from this trailer. There isn't enough here to be able to see that kind of thing, but I am very worried about that, especially with the online aspect of the game. You can play the game in 4-player co-op online, and you know how that's going to be. You know how Nintendo's online is. And that's one of my bigger concerns as well, is how is the co-op going to work? How is progression going to work? But, something we can worry about that later. It's mostly just the performance I'm worried about. Now, over here, you can see this new feature, the terrestrialize thing, where Pokemons become crystallized or whatever. For the most part, from what I've seen here, I personally don't really care about it, because you had Mega Evolution and people hated it, and then they started to like it, and then you had Dynamax and Gigantamax, and now you got this new one here, and I don't really see the point of this one other than trying to find rare versions of Pokemon who will have the type change from this terrestrialized thing. But I just think they should have just brought back Mega Evolution and make a whole bunch of new Mega Evolution Pokemon. That would have been cool, because I actually like Mega Evolution, and you should hopefully be agreeing with me on Mega Evolution, because some of those Mega Evolutions were really, really cool. Like, Metagross was cool, Blastoise is a third cannon, Charizard had 2 different forms, Blaziken looked badass as a Mega. So I do wish they did include Mega Evolution in this game. Or they, brought it back, but they're not doing that as far as we can see. Raid battles, I am concerned about raid battles. I don't really care for raid battles, but it does appear from what they said here, they are kind of taking the raid battle aspect from Pokemon Go and not Pokemon Sword and Shield. Whereas in those games, you had to wait your turn to attack. But here, like in Pokemon Go, you can just attack or heal on your turn. So that's kind of cool. It is, again, with the whole multiplayer aspect of it. So, do what you will with that. To try to capture these rare, crystallized versions of Pokemon. But one of the things I am very excited for is the story, because it said there's about 3 different stories in the game. You have the main gym battle, Pokemon Championship story, and then 2 more that I think they only talked about one of them, which is the treasure hunt story, and they haven't talked about the other one yet. So that's probably going to be the better, bigger surprise. So I'm excited to see what they do with the story. That means that this game could be somewhat lengthy compared to previous games, and then you add on the fact of trying to complete the Pokedex is also going to be very, very lengthy. But one of the things I wasn't happy about here, which I knew this from the beginning based on a fan art I saw and the design of the 2 legendary Pokemon, and the fact that it's an open world for the first time, I knew for a fact that you were going to be able to ride on these Pokemon, and you can. Now, my problem is when they first revealed the 2 legendary Pokemon designs, I initially liked Koraidon's design better when he was on his 2 feet standing, because Miraidon was kind of like floating like a jet, and it just looked kind of weird because he clearly has legs, as you saw. But right there, when you see the player riding on the back, Koraidon looks kind of dumb using his legs to run around the map when he has 2 wheels that he can use. Whereas Miraidon, you ride on him like a motorcycle, so it looks pretty cool. It's like a futuristic motorcycle, like a Tron cycle. So I do have the double pack pre-ordered. I know my Frankie and Chris, I know they're going to probably get Violet as far as I remember them saying. So of course I'll be the one with Koraidon at the beginning of my journey. That way we can do the region exclusives and all that, because the past couple of Pokemon games they both went with the version that I didn't have. So I was hoping for a change this time, but they didn't want to do that. But either way, so we're gonna do the region exclusives, and as you can see in the trailer, that you can do each player having their own legendary to ride on the map together, and you can probably race each other or something. So that's gonna be pretty cool to do. We should hopefully have a 4th player just to make it more fun as well. But like I said, Koraidon did look kind of dumb in his, I'm going to call it motorcycle form. It does look kind of dumb compared to Miraidon. But I think in battle mode, while they're standing on their feet, or in Miraidon's case, floating in the air, Koraidon does look a bit cooler in that form, in my opinion. I'm also worried if this guy right here, Clavel, is going to be the main villain. Just the better look in his face, and you know how Pokemon games are. There's that one character that it's very obvious that they're the villain, like in X and Y, that Team Flare guy, I can't remember his name, but Lysander, I think his name was. It was clear from the beginning he was the bad guy. Like, come on. But they do seem to have an emphasis here on these new characters that you're going to meet, and maybe they're each going to have a bigger role, as well as the gym leaders. The last time gym leaders had an amazing role in Pokemon games was Black and White, and that was really cool, because the Sword and Shield thing with at least one gym leader, that was, whatever. We are getting Paldean region exclusive Pokemon, or Paldean form, I guess they're calling it. Kind of like you had in previous games, the Alolan region forms, and then you had the Hisuian from Legends Arceus. So I'm curious to see what other Pokemon will have that exclusive region form. But aside from that, I'm also very interested to see the final forms of these starters. The 3 amigos, we're all gonna do each our own starters. I think I got stuck with the grass one, unfortunately. I wanted a Fuecoco, but Frankie, I guess, called it first, and he looks like a dinosaur, and Frankie loves dinosaurs, so I'll take the grass one. I have both games pre-ordered anyway, so I'll just get the other 2 on my second playthrough anyway. Like, who cares? But yeah, those are my concerns and things I'm excited for. I hope the world isn't too empty. I hope we do get a decent amount of like towns and locations and decent sized cities to explore. Um, I do wish Pokemon was on a different console that yes, it would take more time to release a Pokemon game, more development time, but you would also have the resources to make these games phenomenal and phenomenally better with, some voice acting and Pokemon having more sound effects and more animations for the attacks, but that's not the world that we're living in right now. Maybe in another alternate universe, Pokemon is on like next gen consoles, but I'm excited to see what happens with this game going forward. I hope that my concerns are valid and they either don't exist or they're not going to be too present in the game. And I just can't wait to see what other mysteries this game has to offer. There's typically a third legendary who's not on the box art, so I cannot wait to see what that legendary looks like. And before I forget, the one thing that seemed to be pretty cool was the fact that you can glide around the map, and hopefully it's better than like the Zelda gliding because that gliding kind of sucked. So hopefully this one is pretty cool, and I just can't wait to see what they got for this game and if they're gonna do any DLC or not. But that's gonna be my video for today. So thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting me. For those of you who've been here and been watching and who have been patient with me as I'm trying to get my schedule all figured out, so I can actually make more content. I actually do have a couple ideas that I want to do. So be on the lookout for that. But thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It'll really make me happy if you guys subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. And again, check out the Three Amigos podcast because we are doing as much as we can, trying to get content out for you guys. That's another thing, trying to balance the podcast channel and my job and my comedy thing and then my YouTube and family. So you get it. But thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you guys on the next one.